back with Messy on Purpose.
Hello.
And we have Lauren back with us.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about her business and who knows what else, because we're messy on purpose.
I'm sure it's going to go multiple different directions, so as our conversations do, but we'll start off with letting Lauren tell us a little bit about herself.
Okay. I am a business owner and a mom. I have owned my photography studio as a studio about 10 years. Actually, we have a little, our sweatshirts say established in 2015, and somebody reminded me of that the other day, that we've been open for 10 years as a studio. I started off as a photographer and then changed it into a business. Now we have 10 locations across the U.S., which I started franchising. So I own the 2 in Vegas, and I'm the franchisor for the other locations across the United States. And it's a lot of fun. I focus a lot. A lot of people know I'm super into the soccer world. My son lives in Barcelona, so I live between Las Vegas and Barcelona, and that's really enjoyable. And I have 2 other kids that super awesome, but today we'll talk mostly about the business. We'll try to talk mostly about the business.
The name of your photo studio
is Lala Photography. My nickname is Lala because my name is Lauren. You know how when the first grandchild comes about and everybody picks their grandparent names, and I picked my aunt name, and for my first niece and my aunt, so my aunt name was Lala, so I wanted to be Aunt Lala.
So
my mom picked Mimi and Papa, and one day I'll get to pick my grandma name, but maybe I'll just be Lala too. But nobody really calls me Lala. They call me Lauren, but some people call me Lala. But that's my business name. It's Lala Photography. And it's fun. It's I thought when I first started my business, I thought I would be I named it after myself because it was mine. I was the photographer. I was the sole photographer, and I never even imagined that somebody else would be a photographer at my photography studio. And now I won't even go in and shoot. I'm like, no, they'd have to pay me so much money to go in and shoot. I don't think I ever want to pick up another camera again. I'm really bad when it comes to that. I'm probably the only photographer in the world who doesn't want to pick up a camera. I don't take it on vacation with me. I hardly take pictures on my phone of anything. So
Did you just lose the passion for it? Or?
No, it's not that I lost the passion for photography. I think I've found my passion for business, which is different. So the catalyst to that was I opened up a studio, and my sister actually gave me a book, and it was called The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. So if anybody's ever thinking about opening up a business, that would be probably the number 1 book for business that I would suggest. It's very small too. It's not it's not complex. I've read tons of business books, and a lot of them say the same thing, but some are
I'm going to read it by the time next time I see you.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And but basically one of the things that stood out to me is that, do you want to own a job or do you want to own a business? And there's nothing wrong if you want to own a job. There's absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, you're a hairdresser. Is that what they call it? What's the correct vernacular for that? Hairdresser? Stylist. Okay, yeah, you're a stylist. Okay. So, and you own a business, but at one point it's do you want to own your job where you're here every day, you're grinding every day, which is totally cool, or do you want to own a business and that's when it works for you? And at that point, mind you, I excelled in school, but never finished college. Of course, all the kids in Gate and at start early do. So I have no degree. I'm probably I am the only person in my family that doesn't have a degree.
What's the opposite for me?
Are you the only one that has a degree?
And I think my degree is completely pointless, and I wish I wouldn't have wasted money on it.
Exactly.
Seriously.
I think my sister used to be with me, and we were like the 2 cousins that didn't have it together. Then all of a sudden I got a message that she had a commencement date. I was like, commencement? Like, what? When did you even start going to school? Dang it! And then there was another one 18 months later, and then another one. It's like, how many commencements do I have to go to? I mean, for this one person, now I don't even know how many degrees she has, but it's wild. And so here I am, the only one without a degree, but that's okay. So I have no background in business, like zero. I knew I loved photography, but I'm actually not right-brained. Wait, what one's the artistic one?
I think it's
Right.
left. There's
Left. I think it's
I
no.
honestly don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm not that brained.
We're
And
not that side of the brain.
I'm not that side of the brain. I'm not any brain lately. God, I can't even focus. But so everybody thinks, oh, you're a photographer. You must be so artsy and just really, colorful and artsy. And I'm actually not. I'm very analytical. I'm extremely analytical, mathematics, all that. So the passion that I found in photography was the technical passion. I loved that part of it. So I took photography courses and it never quite snapped to me until I read the thin papered instruction manual that came with my camera. And that's when it all just clicked together because I'm so technical. So that was my passion for photography, was just the technical side of it and the systems side of it, I guess, the engineering part of it. So I read that book and the E-Myth, and it really just made me think, what do I want? Do I want to own this job? And that could be cool. Yeah. I could make great money. I'm good at what I do. That's wonderful. Or do I want to own a business where, like I said before, I'm going to go to Barcelona and I'll be there because my 12-year-old lives there, playing soccer. I'll be there this time for almost 3 months. And I'll basically make the same amount of money as if I'm here grinding, or if I'm there not grinding. And so that was a decision that I made, and it's very hard. But once you make the decision and once you follow these books, like all these people have been through all of this. And that's the thing that I don't get. I know a lot of people read all these books, but then they don't do anything that these books suggest. So I'm very, very I think we talked about this on the last podcast. If they can do it, I can do it. And if they did it, even better, because they've already gone through everything. So let me, learn from their mistakes. So I did that, and that's how I kind of grew. And one of the things that it talks about in the E-Myth is build your business as if it's a franchise. And I never even had any desire to franchise my studio, nothing like that. I mean, but I started building these systems that kind of, it's like it worked for this, and I had everything documented, which is very important. And then I just, an opportunity came about, and I just decided to franchise. And I already had everything to do that. And I haven't launched my franchise yet because I keep trying to perfect it. And that was one thing that I need to learn. It's probably the biggest thing that I need to work on, is it's never going to be perfect. I just need to do it. Yeah. It's always going to be a work in progress, especially with all this technology.
Yeah, that's a lot of people's problem, is they wait for everything to be perfect before they'll launch anything. And if you wait for perfection, it'll never happen. You're just pushing it off because you're scared. You're scared to take that risk. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared to take the risk. And right now I'm in a place where I am really enjoying my life, because I was in a place where I was not enjoying my life. And that is another thing that people need to realize, is it is to get to a level, I mean, even just a level where you are so comfortable. I mean, I'm not out buying a yacht or anything like that. I mean, I'm not, or at least not the yacht I want. But I'm comfortable. I'm very comfortable. I don't have to work. And I get to travel all around the world, and I don't have to think about that. So that's nice. But to get to that, it was sacrifices that I don't think most people are willing to make.
When you say sacrifices, do you have some examples that you can share?
Oh, I have
what
lots
you
of
went
examples
through just to get to where you are.
Yeah, are you guys familiar with Dave Ramsey?
Yes.
Okay, so Financial Peace University. I used to listen to that on the way to work a lot, and it is it's a system that most people are definitely not willing to do. Like, it is you have no credit card debt. You're supposed to pay off your cars. You don't buy anything nice. If you can't afford it, do not eat out. It's like a major budget. Pay off your house, And most people are like, pay off my house? Like, that's insane. And that was like the first thing that we did was pay off our houses and pay off our cars and no credit card debt. And I think that we lived off of Top Ramen, which now that I'm into health, I would definitely not suggest eating Top Ramen. But there are, ways that you can budget and not eat out. Like we have Coffee Bean. When you offered to get me Coffee Bean this morning, I'm sure that you felt my excitement in the yeah. Because I don't drink coffee that is not made at my house.
Yeah.
Like, this is a super, super
like
treat for me.
Yeah.
Like a beyond treat for me. Because I still have these habits from Financial Peace University when I wasn't in Financial Peace, where, there's just no way. I would never go get a Starbucks. Like, why would I do that? Like, why would I spend $6 on a drink and the gas to go get it and the time to go get it when I have, it's a little pathetic, but I have instant coffee.
I remember you talking.
I have instant coffee at home. Like, I don't even have nice coffee. Like, I have instant coffee because it's just so fast and easy and consistent. When I go overseas, it's like just Nescafe, easy. I just would. So it's stuff like that. Like, people go out to eat all the time, and I'm talking about even Taco Bell right now costs like $60 for a family of 4.
Oh yeah,
insane. That's just crazy, and people are complaining so much about how much they don't make, and then they come in with these coffees. Like, it's wild to me. That would be a sacrifice. That's one sacrifice. Of course, we didn't go on vacation. That's another thing. Like, even though now I feel like, I should have balanced it a little bit, but there are things that you could do within any city that you live that would give you that, like going out in nature and stuff that is free. But I know a lot of people, and I'll probably get a lot of pushback from this, that go to Disneyland because we're so close to Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Disneyland last week. I was forced to with my best friend, which was fun because I got to be in line with her, so it was tolerable. But I couldn't believe how much that 3-day trip costs to Disneyland.
So much.
Oh yeah.
And I am financially free, and I was like, what? Like, it's going to cost this much for what? Like, that, it was just unbelievable. So I think people, like, we never did stuff like that. We had one car forever. We ate in. We always cooked in. I never bought shoes. I didn't wear them today because they have really bad holes all in them, but I have a pair of Converse that I almost exclusively wore for like 5 years. I wore a hat like this for about 7 years, except my hair would be all tucked in because I wouldn't spend money on a hairdresser. You can see my nails. I don't spend money on nails. That's just something that I got into a habit of not doing stuff that most people do.
Yeah.
And it all adds up, and it's just discipline. I think it's not even a matter of not having those things, but also just being disciplined in the fact that I have a goal. I want to reach this goal, whether it's financial, it just personal finances or business. And I'm going to commit to that goal. And I think that there's so many distractions, especially we were talking earlier about social media and stuff, that just doesn't allow you to say, I'm going to do this for me and my goals, because you're looking at all these other people and it's all fake. All of it is fake. And none of it is real. I look at some of the girls and be like, oh my God, you look so hot in your photos. And it's not what you look like. I don't know how they even do that. I don't know how that feels good. I'd feel so embarrassed. I look like shit in my pictures, which is half the reason why I don't.
When you're talking about like gurus and stuff that you followed, and that, you know what I mean, like Dave Ramsey, and like there are plenty of those out there too that are just as fake. These people on social media that tell you these are the steps to become financially free, or these are the steps to grow your business, or whatever. And they're putting out these mentorships that people are buying, and they're spending their hard-earned money that they did sacrifice to get, and then it's for BS.
Yeah, I'm
It's
sure a lot
crazy.
of those people are, I mean, if you really look at it, almost all the business books are very similar.
Mhm.
Like if when you start reading them, there's patterns.
Mhm.
And it really just says the different or the same thing with different contexts. It really, that's all. And, I guess with the E-Myth, um, I believe that it's like one of the most important books you can buy if you wanted to build a business.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to build a business, and then you can get into other niches, like communication niches or persuasion niches and how to talk to people, sales books.
You have your foundation, and then you build from there.
Yeah.
I was more getting at like the social media comparison.
Oh, yeah.
You're seeing all these people, and they promote themselves, and some of them aren't really offering anything, but they're
No,
giving
yeah.
you this false sense of reality, and they put people in crappy situations because a lot of the purpose of this podcast is like to really talk about the messy part of life, right? So even in business, there's a lot of messy things that get covered up. And a lot of these
yeah.
mentorships will tell you everything that's great, but they won't give you the examples of where they failed, where things got messy, where they got sued. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And those are the things that I feel like people need that
Yeah.
aren't shared enough, because that will help. Somebody's mistakes will help somebody more than their successes.
Yeah, well, and that is a main thing about business too, is mistakes. A lot of people, when they fail, they see failure as such a negative aspect of life, business, whatever it is. And I think that one of my strengths was when I failed, it was like, okay, cool. Like, okay, now I know not to do that. And let me try something different. And I was never, ever afraid to fail. But I was never afraid to fail because I had done Dave Ramsey. So I had financial peace when I was building my business. I had a paid off house. I didn't have car payments. I didn't have private school for my kids. Now, oh my God, my kids are so expensive. But, I didn't have any of that, and I didn't go shopping. I didn't care about that stuff. I still actually don't care. I care about cars. That's probably the only thing, because I like to drive fast. But I think that I was never afraid to fail. Not only was I not afraid to fail, but I found the value in fail. I knew the value of failure. And so knowing the value of failure and knowing that it's not just okay to fail, but a great thing when you do. Perfect. Now you know not to do that. I think that is really hard for people. I think they are so afraid that something isn't going to work out. And like when I say I don't have an ounce of that won't work, I don't have an ounce to think that I can't do something.
Yeah.
Like, this is an extreme example, but if I want to be on the Olympic team for curling, like I could do it. Like literally, I could just do it. Like I could do anything. I probably couldn't be a sprinter. But that's like, but you know what? Fuck it. Whoops. Screw it. That's going to have to be bleeped. I'm sorry. I tried so hard. I've been
It's
trying.
okay.
I
You're
lasted
doing
7 minutes.
You're doing good.
Oh, shit.
You're doing
Oh,
good.
gosh. Darn it all. Okay. But
You
I
had to get one in.
Okay, I could get one. Okay, that's my one. It's only 7 minutes in. Okay. I'm going to try. I'm going to be a good example for my kids, although, my kids also have just really filthy mouths. No, but I really believe that I could do anything. Repetition is the mother of all skills. So if I really wanted to be a sprinter, if I wanted to be, not with this low back pain that you get over 40.
Yeah.
But if
Or the
I
fact that it's unenjoyable.
or the fact that running sucks. That's true. Oh gosh. No, I believe I can. Like I really believe I could do anything that I want. So I always feel like I have a choice. And I think when people feel like they're trapped, either trapped in their situation, trapped wherever they feel trapped, I think that is just holds them down. And we're our own. We create these prisons for ourselves, and we get mad at all these other people for our situation. When it's really every single thing is something that we've created ourselves. And that, I guess, is another one of my superpowers. I never blamed anybody else for my situation.
Which is huge, because so many people use other people as an excuse. Like the other people, other situations that they have. Like at nothing,
Anything.
you have to take responsibility for every single thing in your life, good or bad, no matter how it happened, just take responsibility for it and things get a lot easier.
Everything gets easier. That's the paradox of it. It's like we all have trauma from our parents, all of us. Oh, I didn't think I had any until I went to my therapist. I was like, whoa, I'm super messed up.
Not even just with your parents, just in life situations.
Life situations. And which is fine. Yeah, people do stuff to you all the time, of course. I mean, like that's life. People are going to, but the second that you let that affect you, then you become their prisoner. And I don't want to be anybody's prisoner except my own. I'll mess up my own life. But I think that's also like when something went wrong with my work and somebody else did something, I actually was like, oof, I should have wrote a different system for that. I should have trained her better or them better. I should have done something different. You know, or even if it was they were on their phones during work and they're like, no, that's their fault. They know they shouldn't be on their phone. No, I should have made it super clear through this. I should have had, this, it's me.
There's a reason that they felt comfortable enough to do that.
Yeah, it is my fault.
What can I fix next?
What can I fix next to make it so they know that they're not allowed on their phones? I think a lot of them still on their phones. but again, it's my fault. I mean, it's my fault in the end. Like I need to make some systems and some accountability so that they're not on their phones because people are always going to do what's best for them. And I only just realized that this year. That was a big lesson for me that people will only always serve themselves and it's not a bad thing. Not just narcissists.
No, we're all innately selfish. There's a sense of selfishness. Of course.
There's even a lot of selfishness in a nice act for someone else.
That is
feel good about what you're doing.
I learned that. That it's not being nice what you're doing. It's your survival mechanism. Like you're being nice so that they will like you and think that it's just a cycle. Yeah. So there's really not a lot of niceness. But then I was like, okay, I don't have to be nice anymore. But then I became a little too honest. So I had to pull back because my friends were like, oh, you're really honest. And I was like, yeah, I'm honest. You're welcome. Honest. Yeah, so I had to pull that back a little bit. That was an adjustment for me. But yeah, again, there's a lot of different components to being successful, but then you also have to think of what do you consider success? So for me, my definition of success is where I am right now, and that is having choices. I can choose whether I wanted to go into work today or not. I chose not. I chose to come here instead. I would do something else. Yes. I have the ability to, but I don't need, it was not about my money that I have. Like that is not, I am so thankful for the opportunity to be able to say to my son, who's a very amazing, talented soccer player, you need to be in Europe. Let me put you in there and you play and I'll come and visit and we'll come and we're going to like do all this stuff. Cause a lot of people, their children are very talented, but maybe they could afford the program that I put them in, but they can't afford to leave their jobs. And I have a friend right now who has to work because her children, so she doesn't get to see her children that are in the program in Spain because she's working her bum off trying to pay for their program and their life over there because it's very expensive. When you're paying for it's a boarding school basically.
What's expensive for just like the lower level, like having just kids in sports in general? Like, I mean, baseball just out of high school, like the equipment and all that stuff, or like a cheerleader. I know my sister pays a crazy amount of money, and it's not even like she's
insane right now
in any level of super high competition or anything, and it's insane. And then for you to be able to do something so extreme for your son to be so successful,
it's extreme.
Yeah,
it really is extreme, and that my measure of success is just that. It's not the amount of money that I have in the bank, because I think actually a lot of people who have a lot of money in the bank don't really show off what they have.
No.
And again, I have really nice motor vehicles, but because I love that, I think it was the only time when I was in my business that I felt free from my business was when I was driving. And so it's kind of like neuroassociative conditioning, where I associate my driving with freedom.
What if it makes you happy?
It does. It super makes me happy. Clothes do not do anything for me. Purses for sure don't.
Materialistic things just don't. But
just don't. But my
I feel
cars
like
do.
cars is more of like a hobby in a sense because
It's
there's
fun.
certain things that you like about it. Like you might be a fast car person, but like some people are into like off-road vehicles. Some people
I have
are into
both.
wagons.
I'm into all vehicles.
So, but like, my husband's a huge car guy. So I live and breathe it, and I don't even want to.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I think I love driving, and I love getting from one place to the other. But when I'm in Barcelona, I don't drive. When I'm in Barcelona, I love taking the metro. Like, I love it. It's 21 euros for 30 days, and I just go everywhere, and it's so much fun. I don't know if I just like the journey.
Public transit's different in other countries than
Oh,
it is
yeah,
here,
no,
too.
I wouldn't take
Here,
public, no.
You won't catch me on public transit.
No, I wouldn't. No.
I'd walk first.
Actually, I might go on the bus.
I would not. Not in
like the
Vegas? No.
Oh, I think it'd be fun. I like people
You better
watching.
bring some kind of weapon.
You
Some
don't know where you're gonna
concealed
be.
carry.
Yeah. And be ready.
Yeah.
Can I touch on what you were saying? Is I agree with you. I think everybody's measure of success is differently.
Yeah.
Obviously, the world or people in general have an idea of what they think success is. But I think especially for me, as I've gotten older and seeing my children grow and stuff, success for me is more, it doesn't have anything to do with any material possessions.
No.
It has to do with having peace of mind.
Yes.
Being at peace not only with yourself, but in your relationships in your life, feeling fulfilled in yourself, like the happiness of that, having good friendships, having other relationships, like that's the things that define success for me. Because we've talked about it, you have to have money. You have to have money to pay your bills,
Yes.
to live your life, like things
It
cost.
gets rid of stress in
Yeah.
itself, like just having money to
And
be
if
able
you
to
have
provide
the
things you
financial
need.
piece, like you were talking about, then you don't have that stress or that, oh, how am I going to pay for this or whatever. But for me, yeah, success is really looking at my children and the children that I'm raising and who they're turning into, and then just having peace in every aspect.
Yeah, there's an old saying that says "mo money, mo problems."
Yep.
And unfortunately, like that's what happens when people get more money is they have more problems, and so that's not success. Like you can be just as stressed out with $100 in your bank account, 100,000, $1 million in your bank account. So and people don't realize that. That's the hard thing, is they will never realize that money doesn't buy happiness until you actually have money. And you realize that it actually doesn't buy happiness.
And there's also a skill that goes with that too, though. You can have plenty of money or no money, and you could be spending money the same exact way. That can put you in a horrible spot, or that you could be living great and everything stress-free because you're putting it in the right areas. Because you have people who are very materialistic and don't know how to manage money, maybe came from nothing, and then they get a little bit of money. Like, think of the people who win the lottery.
There's statistics on that.
Yeah.
They literally have data on that about how miserable they are, how long it takes them to lose their money.
Yep.
Some people
They'll talk about the curse of the lottery.
The curse of the lottery.
And what it is it's people that don't know how to manage funds as it is. They get a lump sum amount, and then they overspend, over-leverage themselves, and then end up in the hole.
And they'll all end up, they're celebrities.
Yeah.
What was it, MC Hammer? Was that the one? MC Hammer. That was, when I was growing up there, that was like my example of how to not manage your money is MC Hammer. But there's so many, there's just so many people. Yeah, there's this, and we talked about this last time, all this social media is just really making people want things that they shouldn't. And I just don't understand how they don't know how fake everything is. And social media is great. Our business, my business is, relies on a lot of social media
I was gonna say the same
for
thing.
lead generation.
All business now. If you don't utilize social media, you are going to fail in business.
Yeah.
Same thing with AI coming out. Like, if you're not utilizing AI, you are going to fail in business. You have to grow with the tools that we get as we grow as a society.
Yeah,
You'll fall behind.
You will fall behind. And I love AI though. So far I like it. There's
There's
so
no
many,
reason not to. It makes life easier.
Oh, it makes everything easier. I'm actually building another business on AI almost completely, and it is like a sports psychology business. And I have some partners that are psychologists, one in Barcelona and one in Dana Point. And but it's like they're the professionals, like they are psychology people, but I'm writing all the content because I'm utilizing AI and utilizing my business mindset. So, and that's another thing. It's once you know how to build business and how to make money, it's all the same. It's so easy. It's simple, not easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's very, very simple. And whether you're a service, a product, there's stuff when you get into products, it's a little different. But like right now, I mean, I own a service industry. I'm in the service, and I'm building a digital product business. But it still has all the same principles of how I'm going to build this.
Yeah.
And so once you learn how to do that, again, you don't worry about, I'm going to lose all of this. I did that for a long time because I feel empowered that, if something happens, well, I'll just build another business. No big deal. I'm not emotionally attached to my business like I used to. Really, it was named Lala. I used to be in there. I used to take pride in being the first car that got into the parking lot and the last car to leave. And now I go, what did I do? I aged myself probably, I didn't even look in the mirror for probably like 5 years because I just shoved my hair into, I was so sick all the time. I just found a picture the other day where I was chugging Dayquil. And that's what I was always sick. And I mean, it was a lot of sacrifice. So it's not that I regret doing that because I know I'm happy to be where I am. I wish that didn't have to be, but it's just the level to get there.
Think about so I don't have kids obviously, so I don't really know. So you guys can tell me if this is true or not. But your first child, you're like overbearing and overprotective.
Oh,
and
it's so hard.
It's so hard.
It's so
hard. And then
hard.
you have another one, and it gets easier and easier, right? Because you get more relaxed.
Yeah, well, it's not a big
feel
deal.
More competent in yourself. You're like, okay, I know how to do this. Whereas the first one, it's like, I'm just figuring this out. Like there's
no sleep,
manual.
no sleep.
No sleep.
All of a sudden, you have no sleep, and I think that was the biggest adjustment.
Yeah.
I nursed my first one. He's gonna be so upset right now, but no, until he was 4.5.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, he was super sick and this was all when I was building my business.
Yeah.
So he was super sick. He was a preemie. He was 1 pound 12 ounces.
Oh my
And my
gosh.
sister actually was like, "Your only job when he's in the NICU is to pump." And I was like, "I can't." I'm like so sad. My baby's like almost dead, and like it was awful. And I had to wake myself up every 3 hours,
Every
and I
3
pumped.
hours. Yep.
And I pumped,
Yep.
and I made sure he had breast milk the entire time he was in the hospital. Then I was like, nursing him, and they don't let you nurse because they want to be able to measure how much they put in when they're sick. And so I nursed him, and I was so proud, and then I was like, well, I'm going to wean him when he's 1, right? And then it was like, but he wasn't adjusted age, because they adjust their age when they're preemies. So I said, okay, I'm going to nurse him until he's like adjusted 1 year old. So that would be like 15 months. And then I was like, oh, he's so little. He's so cute. Could do good. All of a sudden he was like 2. So then I was, Googling. I guess he was born in 2008. So we still Googled back then, but it's not huge. And I Googled like how to wean your 2-year-old. And then all these Berkeley mom articles came up, and they're like, don't wean your child. Like let them naturally wean.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, that's never going to happen. Like, so I just kept waiting for him to naturally wean. And I got pregnant too, even in the middle. And they were like, once you're pregnant, your milk is going to change and they're going to hate it. And he was like, because he was talking.
Like, hey,
And he was like, oh, this is gross. But then like just stuck it in his mouth. Like it was so bad. So then I had to make up this fairy. It was Betty the Boob Fairy. Which I learned my lesson that you don't, with your first kid,
We need a T-shirt that says Betty the Boobs.
Oh, yeah. No, because I was like, let's have them call them boobs because it's so cute to see a little 2-year-old call them boobs. But then when a little 4-year-old's in public going like, boobs, I want boobs, then like you quickly learn like, okay, let's call it something else with the next kid. But so Betty the Boob Fairy would come, just like the Tooth Fairy, Tina, would come
I
and
was just going to say, was the second one Tina the Tata Fairy?
So yeah, Tina. No, I was with my second one. I was like, "You suck." Like, no pun intended. Like, we're done. He was like 3.5. I was pregnant. But I nursed through my pregnancies. Oh, it was awful. I could never be ahead of
for this to go this way. I was just comparing it to business.
Oh yeah. Well, here, I mean, because like, everybody's like, "Oh, you should go talk at the La Leche League." I'm like, oh no, I would be the worst person to talk to at the La Leche League because I couldn't wait till I was done. Long story short, I literally nursed for a decade where I didn't get sleep at night because I nursed them through the night. I had a baby, then I would nurse both of them. My friend, I had to watch her daughter only wanted to nurse, so I wet nursed her daughter. Like, it was just a nursing nightmare. But I did all that while I was working, so I didn't sleep the first, I didn't quite, probably the first 5 years of building my business, I didn't even get to sleep. I mean, when I say there's sacrifices,
deprived, it's like it affects everything.
It affects everything. I was in it was awful.
I would wake up to like breastfeed and I would be crying while I was breastfeeding because I'd be like, I'm so tired. Like, you'd be crying and like trying not to fall asleep while you're breastfeeding, and it's like those first couple of years you never really get adjusted. But I think with the point you were making, it's true, because with the first one, like, besides waking up to breastfeed and stuff, I would just be scared to fall asleep. Like, what if he turns over? Like, what if he puts his face
it's anxiety,
in
yeah.
Like,
every movement.
You want to check every sound.
Yeah.
You're, like, waking up. And then, like, I got through having my first child and having other children. You feel more confident in your skills and like you're
more confident, but then there's more of them, and that's the downside.
Yeah.
But the reason I was comparing it to business is because once you've done it, now you're familiar with it. Okay, so I'm going to bring us back.
Yeah.
So we're done talking about kids and titties.
Yeah,
kids and titties.
I was bringing it around.
But yeah,
yes, the first time, you
because when you're building a business, everything's new,
it's so
scary.
Yeah.
Everything's a risk. Everything costs money.
Exactly.
It's an investment, and it affects your family. It affects.
Oh, it affected my family.
And so I feel like that first business is hard, and then you're talking about starting another one and how it's easier almost because you're already familiar. You're willing to take the risk. You're not.
There's no
different.
Yeah, you're just in a different mindset, and it's more exciting and fun. And the problem is, like, if it's just like that the whole time, then you'll be so successful, no matter what. If you're in that mindset, so I was halfway in that mindset. But yeah, the more studios that I open, like, each one is just so much easier. But that is also that detachment from your identity of having your business be successful. Mm-hmm. So like when an employee would quit, oh my gosh, the first like employees that quit, I would cry.
Same.
Oh my gosh.
Same.
It was like,
what did
they
I
were
do wrong?
breaking up with me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. It was so awful. It was like so depressing and awful. And now.
What about in comparison of them quitting, what about firing someone for the first time?
The first person that I fired literally stole money like in front of me.
Oh my
It took
gosh.
a lot. And I suspected, it takes me so much to fire somebody. Mm-hmm. Like when I say so much, like, and it's hard because you want to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like everybody thinks I'm crazy for not firing people when they should be. And I'm a little bit better. But I don't know. I
know that one's a tough one.
It's so tough because they'd have to do some like gross misconduct, because we go back to me feeling like it's my fault for a lot of things, and it's not an unhealthy like, oh, it's me. I'm not, because there is a degree where like you take the blame for everything, and that's not what I'm feeling. It's mostly like systems driven. So like if they're doing something wrong, there was somebody that was working with us and they just couldn't get it right. Like they could not get it right. And they were like, girl, they just are not getting their job, the technical side of their job. They're not doing stuff right.
Well, there's
processes.
some people that their skill set that's
It
just not
isn't
the
that.
right job for them.
Yes, but for me, they wanted to let them go. And for me, I was like, no, I like her attitude and she's willing to work. She's not defensive when we bring it up to her. It's like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to really try. So that was more important to me than her actually dotting her I's and crossing her T's.
Because you can teach somebody skills, but you
Yeah,
can't
it just
like,
took
change
longer.
somebody's
You can't change
personality.
Exactly. So now on the opposite side, you know, there's been people that job's amazing. Like, get in there, girl. Like, you rock. Your numbers rock. You do everything by the book. Perfect. But their attitude is awful and doesn't jive with the team. So if you take those two people, I would much rather fire the person who doesn't fit our culture, who doesn't fit our vibe, over the person who maybe is not labeling a file correctly.
It makes a huge difference. The company that I work for, they strongly stay on like certain core values that people have, and it's not skills. It's your personality. It's how you act, how you embrace things, how you deal with things. Like there's qualities in people that you look for to have a certain vibe in your workplace.
Yeah, a certain vibe. And, you know, I think Tony Hsieh really brought that work culture from Zappos to the to everybody's forefront. I don't think like back in the 90s, I don't think anybody thought about that. But they talk about that in the E-Myth too. If you have your systems down, because it's a lot about operations manuals in the E-Myth and making systems, like you don't need to hire. I rarely hire photographers for my photography position. I'm not going to say no because you are a photographer. Like, I don't want that. But I'm not going to hire you because you have any experience in photography. Because to be honest, I could give it two shits less. Sorry.
You're fine.
It's okay, you're fine.
2 craps less. I don't care whether you're a photographer, because in my photography studio, it's actually not about the photography. You don't need to know anything. I set all the cameras up to make it easy and consistent. It's more about your personality and how you interact with the clients and the babies and build rapport, and what experience you give to our clients over what product we're giving to our clients.
That's a huge thing too when you are giving a service. So if you don't have those qualities to be a people person when you're giving a service, well, I mean, the half of that is going to be like negative feeling to that person. Whether what they get in return, maybe the photos are great, maybe the hair is great, but they left feeling like crap because of the way they were treated.
Well, we've said that you have client retention based more off of how you make somebody feel than the results that they get.
Absolutely. And if you look at our reviews, most of our reviews for Lala Photography were written before they ever even saw the photos. They leave the studio and they write a review because, and a lot of them say, we haven't seen the pictures yet, but, right? And because the girls make everybody feel, and I also, pictures are super stressful. So there are, people, when they have family photos, they're rushing around. The mom normally is the one getting all the kids together. The dad normally and typically do not want to have their pictures. So they are not only getting themselves ready, but they're definitely not helping getting the kids ready because they're already pissed off. So one of the things that we do in Lala Photography is when you walk in, it's painted a certain color. And every one of the studios is painted the exact color, the exact tone, everything. And it's actually painted to shock them out of a bad mood when they enter. It's so shocking and beautiful and it's calming that it puts them out of a bad mood. So we think about every single detail because you have to think about that. They talk about logos having certain colors in them to get people to trust you or to want to buy.
What's the shade of the color?
It's a pink, but it is like a It's like a deep pink, but it's when you walk in to any one of our studios, you're taken aback because it's just, there's so many things to look at and it's so distracting. So you were just in a really bad mood and now you're like, I mean, you're maybe not lifted, but you're definitely not in a bad mood. I'll tell you that. People are just like,
I was just curious. I know like blue's usually known for like
sales.
calm and
and blue is they did a study and it's like when the salespeople wore blue, their sales were 25% more because it makes you more trustworthy. And then it induces so there's a whole thing about how colors.
I mean, a lot of sales type places have like blue in there.
Blue, so our sales rooms.
That's
are
why
blue.
I was curious.
Our sales rooms are blue, but
okay.
I
was curious, just based off of that, like what people were walking into.
Yeah, and it's but so in every single part they're offered water. That is very important to offer them water. And there's something called the law of reciprocity. It's when you give somebody something, they feel like they owe you. So like, you bought this coffee for me. Now I was like, oh gosh, I gotta get her a coffee. And it's not anything that we do like consciously. It's all subconscious. The law of reciprocity is all subconscious. And the best example I have for that is when you're in an airport. I believe they're called Hare Krishnas. Do you remember? You know those
with the flowers?
And they hand you a flower.
Yeah.
And before they did that, their rate of getting donations was like 4% or something. Please don't quote me on these numbers. And what I'm probably being
we don't
a little
have
extreme.
Google handy.
It's a ballpark figure.
It's ballpark. It was low, is what I'm saying. And once they started, they like literally shove them in your hands, and they give you something, and you could walk away. They gave it to you, but all of a sudden, your body goes, "I need to give them something back." Yeah. So you got to think of all that when you're. In business too,
provoking a response from people, essentially.
Yeah, but that's the law of reciprocity. So that is, it's just and that's the example of it because I think it went up to like 40% that they were getting donations. Like the numbers are wild, and there is a good book. I think it's called Persuasion, and I forget who, but that's an amazing book also for just to know the psychology behind buying or behavior, human behavior. And
well, it's a big part of sales.
It's a huge part of sales. If you
can't
understand
read,
that,
if you can't read people, I mean, everyone's going to be a little different. Like,
everyone,
for example, so my husband goes into a dealership. He just did recently and deals with somebody, and he knows cars inside and out. And they treat him like your everyday average person that comes in there and knows nothing.
Oh.
You're going to have instant resistance, right? And
Yeah.
he's just gonna leave because he's like, I already know what I want. I already know how much this is worth. I already know how much this is worth. Like, and, he comes in with a plan, and they don't read that because they're not good at reading people. They lost him already.
Yeah, they've already lost him. Yeah, you have to be able to read people. I believe that. So.
It's like, I don't want to be a part of
that.
that.
Shit.
Maybe we should start locking
What
that.
I walked in on.
Yeah, right. That's so funny. I believe. Yeah, we read people for sure. I mean, my business isn't as strong in sales as it could be, and that could be the next thing because we focus so much on the experience.
Yeah.
And we really have focused so much on the experience over anything.
But you need that first before you really focus on the sales anyways, because you need to have a good foundation for the sales part to work.
Exactly. And, a lot of photographers, for us, we don't have a lot of competition because their experience isn't the same as ours. And one of the things that we do is answer our phone. And that seems like, oh, okay, we all answer our phone. And no, businesses do not answer their phones. They don't call people back. Yeah. We were doing business headshots. I was starting a new division for business headshots. And I had somebody heading them. And I said, okay, go call the first 20 people on Google, or 2 pages on Google for when you Google business headshots Las Vegas. And get their prices and do it like you have a week. And I'll meet you back at the meeting. So he did that. And he came back the next meeting. He goes, so the first 2 pages of Google, not one answered their phone. not one photography studio answered their phone, not one. And out of I think he called like 24. I don't remember. It was the 2 first pages. And then he just like stopped because he was like, nobody's even answering. So then I think it was 2 called him back out of 24. And it took 4 days to call them back. And then their prices were insane. I mean, it was just like, wait, what? Like, who wants to pay $300 for one headshot? I mean, these headshots haven't changed. I mean, since the freaking 1980s.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's the same Olin Mills business card. Like, it's wild. And they want $300 for just like one photo. So, but the thing is, like, you know, like stuff like that. Like, people are hyper focused on things that are really not as important as something so simple like answering your phone or calling people back. Having a system that says, okay, I'm going to spend the first 10 minutes every hour calling all the missed calls. You know, just so even if you leave a message, just so people, or, you know, we have some a feature that if we miss their call, it sends them a text right away. Yeah. And then we can open up the communication that avenue.
I was going to say, I feel like one of the things that is a reason for your business being successful, because I have a lot of people, I knew about Lala Photography before we ever met. Like, moving here 12, 13 years ago, people would talk about Lala Photography. And I think that in a lot of businesses now, because we've been talking about the AI and using all that stuff, digital, social media, is we've lost the human touch behind it, where it's like now instead of, because, you know, back in the day when I first started doing hair, you'd call the salon to make your appointment. You'd talk to the receptionist, schedule your appointment.
Yes.
And now we don't even, like, we don't have a receptionist. Like, you send a message or sending your pictures digitally. I know some salons use, like, Chat GPT, where they'll do a consultation with somebody. The AI is doing the consultation.
Like a hair consult?
Yeah, like, send your pictures of your hair and what you want done.
Because basically what you do is you set up almost a questionnaire with AI, and it automatically does this auto chat to go through all
Which
of this.
is great, but I think that one of the most beautiful things in life is human connection. And I see now, we were talking about the robots earlier, like they have robots that they're programming to apply color to people, where they apply their root color, or they do your nail polish or whatever. And it's like, I don't know, like, maybe a robot can apply somebody's color, but the most beautiful thing about the job that I do, and the reason I love it, is the connection that I have with people and getting to have those conversations. But like you saying, people not answering, like, where's the disconnect where we're getting more advanced, but we're going backwards?
I think we're, and again, I love AI, and I think there's so many great benefits to AI, but I think that there's going to be a market for people that want that like, that's going to be our hook. Mm-hmm. Like, no, you know, and we talked about this earlier. I have a hair appointment with my hair stylist tomorrow, not dresser. I'm just showing my age. I'm going to bring my cassette tape in there. We're going to rewind it.
Put it in the boom box.
Listen to the boom box. Oh, God. Oh, my gosh. But, like, what I like, I actually, my roots aren't even that bad. Like, I mean, I got some grays happening. I don't need a haircut. Like, I don't need any of it. I'm so happy that I have a hair appointment tomorrow because I can't wait to talk to her. Yeah. And therapy. No, I'm putting an extra therapy. Yeah. Therapy. She's my therapist.
She is.
And I think that, I mean, and again, that's persuasion and marketing. You got to get that. Like, no, you know, once those bots come out where they can just do it cheap and fast, your new angle is not going to be about the hair. It's not going to be about the product. Mm-hmm. It's going to be about the experience. Yeah. And so everybody asks, well, when I first opened up a photography studio, is kind of, I mean, when did the iPhone come out? In like 2004? Do you guys remember?
I was in high school, so around then.
Yeah, me too. I was in high school.
So I was in middle school. What?
I was not in high school. I was having like babies. I was a
old
grown ass
enough to
adult.
have
I do remember when it came out.
Oh my gosh, rub it in.
I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure I was already married with children.
Oh yeah,
so-
right. Oh, I don't think I had kids, but I remember the very first guy I saw. He had the iPhone and he was on a clip, but it was faced that way so we could see the screen.
Yeah.
And he was walking around with the clip, and I was like,
ooh.
"Oh, I'm gonna talk to that guy. He has an iPhone, and all I have is a razor."
Those used to
I'm
go
just
to
kidding.
slide.
The
Like,
little sidekick thing.
Yeah. Oh
Flip the screen
gosh.
up.
Oh my gosh, those were the days. But when people, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to be a photographer," they're like, "Oh, everybody takes pictures with the iPhone. You guys will be obsolete." You know, and we never have been.
Never.
And never. I mean, our business has been going down this year because of, people are just really tight with their money. A recession is coming, whether we like it or not. And
it has nothing to do with
has
the want
nothing
for
to
those
do-
photos, though. People
Absolutely
want
not.
them.
Oh, yeah.
absolutely not. People want them. And actually, because everybody's trying to keep up with Joneses on social media, we actually, we gross in the millions, and my advertising budget is almost, I don't even think I spend $300 a month. Like, and for a business not to have that advertising budget when you have 7 figures, that's amazing, so it's because of social media and because everybody wants what their neighbor has and everybody's posting, and GoPro was the first company to really bring that to the forefront, because they were like, we don't have to, everybody's just posting all their GoPro footage. We don't have to do any marketing at all. For huge national companies not to have to do marketing like that is amazing. And we are blessed in that we don't really have to. I'm sure we could enter new markets and everything be a little faster. But if we didn't want to, once we get rolling, we don't have to have
Well, you
anything.
probably live off of referrals, too, a lot, too.
We live off of referrals.
Which is huge, because those are usually
Huge.
clients that you want back, and you want the people that they associate themselves with.
Yeah.
Referrals are better than a new client, just
Way
based
better.
off of the fact that you've already built this relationship with someone.
Absolutely.
somewhere.
Yeah, we do a lot of Mary and her daughter had this. And especially within certain communities too. It's huge. Either church communities, religious communities, any type of, like, we kind of get in and we're the person.
Yeah.
We're the people, and that's great. But that's why the experience is so important too.
Yeah.
There's like the pictures hook them, but the experience makes them stay and come
It's how
back
you
and tell
make
their
someone
friends.
feel when they
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
That's what matters. How I felt leaving here versus the first girl that I went and got my hair done when I moved to Vegas, 2 totally different situations.
Oh yeah.
If I
Did
would
your hair look the same in either
Oh
one?
God, no. That first
okay.
girl
Well, she
sucked.
sucked.
But
yeah.
I left here, not only did I like the product, but I liked how I felt. I liked the conversations that we had, and I knew that this was my place.
Yeah, exactly. That's so nice.
Hey guys, that is the end of part 1 with Lauren, and we had a 2.5-hour podcast. So
A lot to say.
So we have to break it in 2. So stay tuned next week for part 2.